we got to talk about Brown University and the shit show that is the police situation there. Here is the one piece of good news. They are saying now that they have DNA from the scene, like the killer's DNA. They said for the first time yesterday that they have some DNA on shell casings. Chief Perez told reporters that they have it. A law enforcement official familiar with the case who spoke on condition of anonymity also said that the DNA as well as fingerprints came from the shell casings. He just told reporters that they have DNA. That's what the chief said. And then on background, somebody else added it's on the shell casings, which is great. If that's true, that's huge. A Fox News on Wednesday asked Chief Perez whether investigators were able to find live ammo on the scene. And he said investigators were able to get physical evidence. Oh, yeah, we seized a few physical evidence. These are his words. And we're in the process of examining that evidence. And yes, we have some DNA that we manipulated, so it just progresses every day. And so what that means is that they're now going to run that through the federal database of perps who are already in the system and see if there are any matches. And if there aren't, then they're going to bring in a genetic genealogist like a CC Moore who can take whatever DNA relational hit they might get, because, if I commit a crime, but I'm not in I think it's called CODIS, the system that they have, they're not going to have a match. But they might, if like my fourth cousin twice removed, if their DNA is in there, they might say, oh, the killer's fourth cousin twice removed is in here. And then you have a genetic genealogy come in here and like map out that person's whole family tree, start figuring it out. It's investigative work, and figure out like who could have been at Brown University on Saturday, December X, and so on. So I do think it's great news that they have DNA, and that hopefully will help us get a name and solve it. However, if you have doubts, you are more than entitled, because they really don't know what they're doing out there. They announced yesterday, made clear, they haven't even interviewed all the students who were in the classroom where the shooting took place. They announced that it was a review course for an exam. So we're not sure who showed up and who didn't. What? Why wouldn't you just go to all students who take the class door by door and interview all of them? Why is it like, gee, I don't know. Listen here to Top 5.
Can you now explain to us 5 days later how many students were in that classroom? Can you now say how many kids were in that classroom, and did the gunman come in from the back so these people never knew it was coming, or did he come in front with full view of everybody?
And that's all part of the interviews, and actually we're cooperating with Brown to get the roster. That was a study hall, so we don't have the number. We're still getting information as far as who was there. I know Brown sent out an email to the students to notify us if they were present, and we're still getting that, so I can't give you an exact account now.
Well, Brown said on an email, Glenn, so they're on it.
I think what's amazing here, Megyn, is that, I mean, any human institution, no matter how capable you think it is going to have incompetence, is going to have mistakes, is going to have failures. And obviously that includes the police and investigators. They make mistakes all the time. But for a crime of this magnitude at one of our nation's top universities, for 11 people to have been shot, 2 of whom have been killed on campus, where everything is monitored, there are cameras everywhere, or at least there should be. It turns out apparently that there aren't, for whatever reasons. There's speculation about why. When you see police incompetence on this level, it really is, it's alarming. I think the other interesting aspect of it is because, I've spent a lot of time in my work on things like mass surveillance and facial recognition and all the ways that we might be surveilled. There's obviously real dangers to having mass surveillance, but in a case like this, you kind of wish that police were able to trace everybody's movements in a way that's a lot easier. And it kind of points to this conflict that we have. But I think everybody finds it inconceivable, not that there's police incompetence, but that on a case of this magnitude, of this scale, at a place like Brown, it looks like the Keystone Cops. And you really do start wondering why. Like, is this just really how incompetent they are? Or is there something about this case and like the university environment and academia and all the values that we know prevail there that are causing impediments in the investigation that's making this incompetence worse.
It's amazing to me that they have not yet interviewed all the students present, the immediate eyewitnesses to the shooting, not only because they may have identifying information about the shooter, they may be able to actually clarify what he yelled, because so far all we've heard is from that one TA who said to me it was incomprehensible, and to the students I know of, they couldn't understand what he was yelling either. Maybe some other student has a different story, and maybe a lot of these students record prep meetings. They have like one of those newfangled apps that everybody has on their phone who are college students, Glenn, where they record these things. And maybe one of those students has a whole recording of it. And the police just need to find them. Why wouldn't they get the full roster of 200 students and in one day knock on all of their doors? This is so crazy. Oh, well, they sent out an email. Oh, well, great. Okay, terrific. Because the killer's on a loose. So you might actually want to put pedal to the metal and get on this. Now, there was another sort of heated moment where the Providence mayor, who's really just the worst actor. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. The university president seems like a complete Nimrod. Not impressed at all with the police chief. The AG is contradicting the Providence mayor, but the Providence mayor is the worst. He is the worst. And he's the one who's like, I don't think there's an ongoing threat. Why not? Well, because no one's been shot since Saturday. Oh, okay. Terrific. I'm sure we're fine then. He was asked a question about the lack of cameras. And I have heard this from multiple people who I know who are like in the area and asking these same questions. Whether the lack of cameras is somehow related to the fact that Providence is a sanctuary city, and whether there was a conscious decision to take down some of the cameras or deactivate some of the cameras so as not to get alleged illegals on camera in a way that would be used by the feds or capturable by the feds. This guy's going to ask this question. It's hard to understand him, and I'm going to summarize it when we come back. So just take a listen, see what you can glean, and then I'll clarify what he's asking. His name is Chaz Kalanda, and he's speaking to the Providence mayor yesterday.
Sanctuary city law that we have. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the footage to the FBI or immigration authority. One camera and that building, it come out from your detectives. They are friends of mine. They're angry at this investigation that these people in Brown University put the camera off. They can identify that person. You imagine how the family want to go through? Tell the truth to the media here.
We heard from both the Brown police chief and the provost at Brown, who have shared that they have been fully cooperative and been forthcoming with all data and evidence that they have.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question. Just to reiterate what the question was, because we went back and verbated it. We have a sanctuary city law here. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the footage to the FBI or immigration authorities. One camera, and now it's come out from your detectives. They're friends of mine. They're angry at this investigation. These people at Brown University put the camera out. That's how he phrased it. They can identify that person. You imagine how the family is going through what they're going through. Tell the truth to the media. Put the cameras open. So that was our best verbated it. He's suggesting that they turned off cameras. I've heard this from others on the scene, that they believe, Providence residents, that some of these cameras were intentionally turned off for the very reasons that reporter stated. Your thoughts on it?
So there's been a lot of speculation online about what happened at Brown and also what happened with the killing that some people think might be related of this nuclear physicist who was also killed at MIT. At MIT, right? Exactly. And a lot of the speculation, some of it turned out to be false. Others of it turned out to be very unfounded. And a lot of people are saying, not unreasonably, that one of the problems with this kind of online sleuthing is that it often leads to politically motivated speculation or things. Okay, I agree with that. I do think that's an issue. The reason that happens, though, is because of the inability or refusal of people in power and in authorities to answer the most basic questions, to give us the most basic information about a crime that, of course, is of great concern to huge numbers of people and ought to be. And it's in that vacuum of like this evasive kind of answer, this refusal to give any kind of, to be accountable in any way, that citizens start thinking, we can't trust the police. We can't trust investigators. They lied to us. They're incompetent. They cover things up. And this is why you see so much of this kind of doubting, like with the Charlie Kirk shooting or with any kind of crime, any kind of major event where people no longer trust institutions of authority. And I think in that exchange, you see the reason. Like, if that's the reason they turned off the cameras, say so. Were the cameras turned off? Like, why can't you just give straight answers on that? And when we don't get those, that's when people start thinking we have to figure out on our own, and we can't trust the information we're being given. And although it can be a problem because it leads to false speculation that spreads like wildfire, it's also the fault of the people who are supposed to be exercising this power responsibly when they do things that make the other people lose trust in what they're saying.
There are a lot of politicians that should be getting coal in their stocking for Christmas, but Birch Gold thinks, as a smart planner, you deserve silver. That's why for every $5,000 you purchase between now and December 22nd, Birch Gold will send you an ounce of silver, which is up over 60% this year. See, smart people diversify and have a hedge. That's why you should consider Birch Gold. With the rate cuts from the Fed in 2026, the dollar could be worth less. And what happens if the AI bubble bursts? Consider letting Birch Gold Group help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And for every $5,000 you buy, you will get an ounce of silver for you or your kids. Just text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility for this offer. Again, text MK to 989898 because Birch Gold's free silver with qualifying purchase promotion ends on December 22nd. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.